All right, and now we're live. What's up, everybody? This is Godzilla Train 1090 coming at you today with a brand new segment that I'm starting today. Today is going to be the first episode of Kaiju Next Door, where I talk to other collectors and we get a little deeper personal into our talk. And today, for my very first guest, it's going to be, you know him, you love him, Mr. Samson West. How you doing, Samson?
Hey everybody, and hey Adrian, how you doing? I'm stoked. This is exciting. I'm excited to answer any questions, comments, and what have you that you and anybody else out there has to offer.
Yeah, and hopefully everybody who is watching on Facebook, there should be a link in there that lets you go ahead and give permission to stream y'all to share your name, so we'll be able to see everybody. Like first of all, Robin's the first one in. What's up, Robin? How you doing?
Hey, Robin.
Now, I guess before I get into the questions, even though we've already been talking off camera and stuff, Samson, you know you're the first YouTuber I've ever watched, so thank you for paving the way for most of us.
I again, as we've been talking to each other, I'm very humbled and honored to do this for anybody. This is just a treat for me to be able to talk to people that say that. It's still weird to me to think about. I was just some dumb kid with a camera at the time that was like, hey, I've seen other people do this and I got some toys and I know how to do video stuff. Let me give it a shot and have some fun with it. And to get such a response from people saying that, oh, Samson, I've been watching you since I was like 5 years old and now I'm 12, or dude, you were my first YouTuber. It's baffling, and I'm very humbled to hear stuff like that from fans and friends out there.
That's good. Glad to hear that. I guess before we get to the question, I'll get into the chat. Also, David said, hey there, guys. David Eric Duffo. What's up, buddy?
David, welcome. What's going on, buddy?
All right, and we're going to get into this. The first question I got for you, who or what made you a Godzilla fan?
I'm sorry, who or what did what now?
Who or what made you a Godzilla fan?
Let's see. Well, I guess I should give my father props for getting me into the fandom. The way my mother tells the story is that when I was 4 years old or so, he bought me my very first tape, which I wish I still had it to this day, but I don't. That would have been a cherished piece to have. The very first thing that got me into the fandom. It was the Godzilla versus Cosmic Monster VHS tape, which we all know that's Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 1974. My mom told him, isn't he like a little too young for something like that? And he was like, oh, I watched this stuff all the time growing up as a kid on TV. Are you kidding me? It's not going to scare him. Nah, he's okay. And they had no idea what they were unleashing to this world. They had no idea that it would latch on like it did and that I would become the hyper-obsessed fan that I am. And just, whoa boy, how time has flown since that 4-year-old little me watched that mechanized terror beat up the big G-man himself.
Yeah, I was able to start with Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, but I can't complain because at least the first Godzilla movie I saw was Godzilla vs. Megalon growing up. That was the very first one. I don't remember when I saw it, but I know that was the first film. So when X-Force released Megalon, I was like, oh, well, I guess we're going way back to my childhood then. So I definitely had to pick him up. But the very first Godzilla, anything Godzilla I saw was the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla growing up. And yeah, I know that cartoon isn't too much into God, like as close to Godzilla as usual representations are, but I still enjoy actually watching them to this day. Honestly, I need to find one DVD. I'm slacking, but that was definitely one of the steps to the Godzilla.
All right, sorry there. Working with my fan, trying to make it not so loud. Isn't somebody out there producing or working on a Hanna-Barbera representation figure or kit or something? I thought I saw somebody was doing some sort of version of that big Dino Terror.
I believe Mondo is. I haven't heard anything about it though, because I saw it I think a couple months ago, but I haven't seen anything about it since then. Oddly enough.
Yeah, I just remember seeing some sort of prototype picture online and got real excited. I was like, "Oh man, I'm down for that." It's a representation of Godzilla that I'm not ashamed of. 1998. So I was like, "I'll pick that up if it exists."
Right. Especially the way it hit, especially since it but that's what's exactly glued me to Godzilla fan. Was like, yeah, they need to hear him release that. I need that.
I would totally be down for it. Well, that's great. And you mentioning Megalon, that was also another top for me. I had 4 VHS tapes growing up, and it was Cosmic Monster, Megalon, King of the Monsters with Raymond Burr, and Sea Monster. And the Megalon and King of the Monsters was a combo pack. It was a combo pack VHS thing. And so I remember watching those. And the first time I watched King of the Monsters, I was kind of like, this is black and white and stupid. He's not fighting anything. I don't But I had my brain wasn't developed enough yet. I didn't know how to appreciate the origin of the big man himself. So eventually I did come to learn that is one of the greatest films of all time. But back then I'm like, where's the monster fights? This is dumb. Megalon was definitely that holds a very special place in my heart too. It's a very campy, fun, kind of different kind of movie, but it has one of my all-time favorite kaiju enemies in it. So I still love it to this day. And Jet Jaguar, I'm Team JJ all the way.
Right. I wish Jet Jaguar we got a little bit more recognition in the Godzilla universe, to be honest. But at least he's taking butt in single points, though. I'm okay with it, I guess.
I agree. I was very happy to hear about him kind of having a big role in Singular Point, and I still haven't seen any of it myself personally. And I own the Bandai figure that came out because I was like, it may look kind of goofy, but I've got to have me a different. It's Jet Jaguar to me still, so I had to get it. The 30 centimeter was something that I was able to get recently. I was ashamed that I sold mine when I was kind of not doing that great, and it took me forever to regain the one that I got. And luckily, I was able to actually get the Rick version again with the interchangeable arms and the light up eye feature, because that's what I originally had. So I got him back in my collection recently since I got the Megalon earlier this year. And just, God, what great representations of figures. They go hand in hand together so well. And I'm so glad that I got them back.
They most definitely do. You think they'd be interlocking with arms with each other the way they made both of these bad boys for X Plus.
Ooh, so good.
So I always had a different story growing up as a Godzilla fan. Like me, I was the only people who really watched Godzilla for me was my brother and my mom. Sometimes my sister, but that's about it. I didn't really have too many friends that I grew up with that loved sitting down watching Godzilla with me. If any, maybe one if I can remember, but not even that. So how was it growing up as a Godzilla fan for you, Samson?
As a Godzilla fan, of course, a lot of us may know that we us Godzilla fans were I don't want to say outcasts because that seems like too strong of a word, but we definitely stood out amongst other people, especially down here in the South where everybody else is obsessed with trucks and guns and stuff like that. And then I'm this kid that loves big radioactive lizards. So it was kind of a different thing. And other kids, I guess I should say that was more like in my teenage years that they were obsessed with that. But as a kid, everybody was playing Star Wars and what else? Like Transformers, and they were playing with toys like that. So they had their unique little nerdy fandoms. But the Godzilla one was odd to others. They weren't as familiar with it. It was it was very cult classic kind of in the 90s, at least. I found it was very kind of cult classic for people to collect Godzilla stuff. So you would see the VHS tapes hit stores every once in a while because, the 90s is where the Heisei era came from. So like the year after the movie came out, you'd see a VHS tape of the American dub version of it. Then you'd see it the next year. So I was born in 91. So I remember one time I was in Kroger and I did see a Godzilla versus Biollante VHS tape, that beautiful artwork where Biollante is like the Rose version 3 times bigger than he is. And he's like looking up at her. The classic poster image, and I was staring at that oddly, and I was like, what is this? And eventually my parents bought it for me in my later childhood, and then I watched it and I was like, this is kind of cool. It's okay. But yeah, explaining it to other kids and trying to get them to play with talking about stuff, they thought it was different. They were like, so he's a dinosaur? I'm like, no, he's not a dinosaur, he's Godzilla. It's different. But I still held strong with my hobby. I never cared what people thought. I kind of did, but at the same time, didn't. I didn't care what people thought. It made me happy. It still does, and that's all that counts in my eye. It's something I like and that I cherish, and nobody can take that away from me as hard as they try.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that because, like you said, we wasn't really we wasn't ashamed to be Godzilla fans. It was just different, especially down here in the South because
Yeah,
ain't talking about Godzilla down here. Even Dragon Ball Z back then when we were kids was what's Dragon Ball Z until it really came out on Toonami and Cartoon Network.
right.
The only thing that we really had for Japanese culture really was kind of Power Rangers when we was growing up. And then Godzilla didn't really bust into the scene in America until maybe after the 1998 film, as much as I hate to admit it.
Yeah,
But
I can.
it did get we did get all the English dub versions of the movies after that movie came out. So as much as I dislike 98 Godzilla, I can never hate it because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have seen any of the Heisei movies. Or a lot of the Stroh movies for that matter. So I have to give respect where it's due.
Oh, believe me, as a kid in 1998, when that came out, so I was 7 years old, I was stoked. It was new to me, and the toys were great, and I didn't really have a strong adult opinion of things yet. So I didn't know what to expect. I guess the only disappointment that came out of me when I was a kid watching that was that I was like, but there was no other monster for him to fight in the film. He fought the stupid army, and that's boring. I just always, it's like, this monster brawl. That's what it's all about, man.
Mm-hmm.
But I did collect the toys. I bought all the toys when I was a kid because I didn't know any better. And I think I might have one of them sitting around somewhere. Just like the little 6-inch one made of hard plastic. You push its little dorsal plate and it shoots that little blue rocket out of its mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And also the as you were talking earlier, the Hanna-Barbera cartoon. I remember that would always feature on Cartoon Network during special time slots. And I would anytime I heard that it was coming on, I got really excited and I wanted to watch it. So that was kind of the only thing, unless you had a really cool retro video store like Blockbuster sometimes had some Godzilla films on VHS, or little hole in the wall VHS rental stores. That's how I was able to see some stuff growing up, especially in the early 2000s. That's how I first saw GMK. It was the Japanese version, and I was kind of disappointed because I was like, I gotta read. It's people talking. It's not laid out for me already. All right, it's a movie I've never seen. Let me give it a shot, I guess. But it was definitely video rental stores is how I was introduced to some of the other movies that my parents didn't already buy me. They just came across them. It wasn't like they actively searched for stuff like that. Well, except for the Trendmaster toys. When they realized that I was into this stuff, they started buying the Trendmaster toys for me. Aside from the Bandai stuff that I collected on my own.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was. That's kind of how it was for me too back then. Because I knew that the 98 Godzilla wasn't Godzilla, but I was like, whatever, it's still Godzilla. I'm still gonna watch it. But the only thing that disappointed me was him getting killed at the end. I was like, what? Are you serious? Why? What? What do you mean died?
That was something that threw me for a loop too. I was like, huh? Hang on, I've seen the other movies where he gets hit by stuff like that, and that didn't happen. This thing isn't Godzilla. This iguana thing. I don't like it. Yeah, it definitely. See, my thought, if it was called anything else but Godzilla, the movie would have been fine. I thought.
Yes.
The fact that they tried to make it a representation of the thing that we've grown to know and love, it's not Godzilla to me, but the movie itself is actually kind of cool, and the design of the creature itself is actually cool. But them trying to play it off as the big man himself, it's not acceptable. I know a lot of people will agree. Some do, some don't, and people are entitled to their opinions, so that's great. But that's what I've always believed. The movie and the monster is cool, but it's not Godzilla to me.
Yeah, that's the exact same boat design. Because I still go back and watch the movie every now and then, and it's just like, this is anything but Godzilla. Jesus, this has potential.
It's I revisit it probably once every maybe 5 or some more years for sure. Sometimes it's not, I don't have the DVD or anything of it, so I'm not gonna like say that I own it to put it in. It'll just be like, hey, look, it's on a streaming service I have. I'm bored. Let me just give it a shot again, I guess. I'll watch Ferris Bueller versus the Big Iguana again.
Right. Okay, so now that we're both in well, you're almost in your 30s. I'm already in my 30s. Jesus.
I'll be 30
this year.
I'll be 30 in 2 weeks, man. It's coming
okay. You're not that far behind me. I don't feel that bad now.
It's gonna be weird. It's like no more 20s. Oh God, my invincible years are over. It's time for my knees and joints to start hurting. Oh, great.
It's okay. You're still invincible at 30. I still feel I'm in my 20s, so don't worry. You're good.
I'm mentally still 14 as far as I'm concerned.
That's very true. I'm the same way. And everybody always gets something. Oh, you're a big kid, Adrian. And what?
It's like,
am I supposed to be?
That's yeah. I still like Fruit Loops and watching cartoons and fart jokes, but
right. So being older and growing up in this hobby the way that we both did, I do have to ask you, what does it mean to you to be a Godzilla fan?
What does it mean to me? I think I kind of talked about that a little bit, but I'm very honored to be part of this fandom now that we've grown up in the age that we live in, because I think that there's a lot of people that support and back us up now that we've learned that the community is as large as it is, because social media is definitely one of the best ways for us to connect with each other in this fandom. There were ways in the late 90s is when I think the very first G-Con happened, which G-Fest is what it is. And so it was a very small group of people. And as the word got out about it, it kind of slowly grew. And now we know this fandom is so much bigger than it is. So I'm proud to be part of it because it's a part of history. It's one of the greatest historical creations ever made. I mean, this Godzilla is one of the greatest monsters in creation. The movie is phenomenal. And it's a part of history that I hope that we will continue to keep alive. Let's keep making movies. Let's keep making toys, and I'm sure is passing it on to future generations of fans. So it's meant a lot to me because it's made. I don't want to say I don't have a purpose in life, but it's kind of given me a purpose in life to collect and enjoy this hobby. If it weren't for this, I kind of don't know where I would be because this is all I've ever known. I've always jumped back to Godzilla growing up. I would always fall into different fandoms throughout my childhood and in my teenage years. Like it'd be like Godzilla, Pokemon, Godzilla, Power Rangers, Godzilla, Digimon, Godzilla, Dragon Ball Z, Godzilla until now. So I definitely am proud to be a Godzilla fan. It's been a very fun wild ride, and it's as far as I'm concerned, I'm not getting off until the very end.
Yeah, I definitely feel you on that because I feel like is our fan base perfect? No, but a lot aren't. But you usually don't hear too many problems in the Godzilla fan base, and that's what makes me really proud to be a Godzilla fan. Because yeah, we have our disagreements, but at the end of the day, most of us can still come together and have an intelligent, civil conversation about Godzilla.
Exactly. I don't think there's not too many instances of headbutting. It does occur, and I see it every once in a while on Facebook, and I'm just kind of like, is this really that necessary? All of us like the same thing in the end. It's whatever. We may not like the same eras or the same designs or have the same opinions, but all in all, we still come together and love this fandom, regardless of what anybody else said. And what I've always kind of hated about certain people can't distinguish the difference between arguing and debating something. They think if you share your opinion and it's different from theirs, that you're arguing with them about it, and it gets into a negative way of thinking and talking. But it's like, no, I'm just debating and expressing my opinion. I'm not trying to hate on you. So sorry if you have a stick up your butt.
Yeah, it drives me. I really hate when people do that. And a lot of other fan base, it gets like, as much as I love Star Wars is a very toxic fan base. And oh God, being Star Wars fans is like, why do you have to have this?
Oh, it's one of the most infamous arguing fan bases I've ever seen. I grew up with Star Wars, so I am familiar with how seeing where it can go and what it's come to. But I'm still just like, yeah, lightsabers, blasters, Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, yay! It's fun, it's great, and whatever where it came from and where it went to. May not agree and disagree with everything about it, but I still enjoy Star Wars. But God, they love to fight about stuff so much. It's insane.
I know 3 different eras of Star Wars and just fighting between all 3 is like, can y'all stop? Like, it's all Star Wars. Who cares?
But
kind of just like having to argue with people about different eras of Godzilla, which, I mean, to me, there's no era really better than the other. I love all the eras equally. I do prefer, well, I guess not prefer, but I guess I can say I do lean more towards one era than others. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's still Godzilla. I love watching it. I love talking about it. So I have no issue with any of it.
For sure. And I feel the same way. I will say, yeah, I do prefer the Showa era because that's where it started from. And those are the most fun films. Heisei, I guess let me share my positive opinion about all of them. Showa is the best and most fun films. The Heisei has some of the coolest designs and special effects that we've ever seen. And Millennium, I'll just say that I like certain Millennium films and certain ones I don't. But I love all things Showa, the movies, the suits, and everything. But as for Heisei goes, I really love the suits. Like, I don't particularly watch the movies all the time, but the Godzilla suits are always great. He's such a menacing just portrayal of the King of the Monsters, and I loved collecting all the different ones that have come out from the X Plus Yuji Sakai line. I've gotten the majority of them so far, and I really want to have a whole Heisei lineup from 89 to 95 if they get around to doing the other missing 2. I know they made a 30 centimeter 93 recently, but I would love to see a Yuji Sakai sculpt one and the 94 to have just where it's an actual legit full Heisei Yuji Sakai lineup.
Mm-hmm. Now, I definitely get that because I guess the way I prefer Godzilla is the reason why I lean towards the Heisei a little bit more because I grew up on the show era as well, and I love the show for specifically what it is. But due to me growing up loving Godzilla as the bad guy, Godzilla in the Heisei era, he's not bad all the time, but the majority of films, he is the bad guy. He is the antagonist. So I think that's why sometimes I do lean towards the Heisei films a little bit more because I love seeing Godzilla being that indestructible force of nature, and he's unstoppable.
That was the perfect term that you used. I was going to say, yeah, he's represented more as a force of nature in the Heisei films, which is why every time he comes on screen, it's like, oh no, it's Godzilla, not yay, Godzilla's here to save the day. It's always Godzilla's a unstoppable force, and they're trying to figure out how to stop him, whether it be a big ass moth or a mechanical doppelganger.
Right. Let's see. So I know you probably, I know you touched on it earlier, but maybe get into a little bit more detail about it. What made you start doing your YouTube channel?
Oh, I guess what kind of inspired me to do the YouTube stuff was that as a young man in the early 2000s, technology was starting to rise. So YouTube was becoming a thing, eBay and stuff like that. So I started watching videos online, and I was seeing other collectors do YouTube reviews. There was like a very small knit group of collectors that did stuff. There was Goji 73, Ultraman Kronos, who else am I missing out? Nick Jones and Deadzilla were the top YouTubers at the time, and they mainly reviewed. They each had their own little niche, but they all interviewed Bandai 6-inch stuff, YMSF figures, and every once in a while, maybe a Marmot toy or something like that. And I thought that was great. I was really interested in seeing how they did that, the platform, and the way that they were able to describe a figure in such a perfect way as to make me want to get it, where I could learn so much more about the figure than just looking up pictures online. Because Club Tokyo did exist at the time, and I was able to see a lot of the great pictures, but they didn't really ever have like a way where I could see comparisons. That was always my favorite thing. I always wanted to see a comparison section of the video where you could see different figures next to each other to see how they sized up with each other. Because I'm all about having monsters from the same film size up with each other in figure form so that they scale well together, so I could either play with them or display them in the proper scale with each other. So I got inspired by that. I also was collecting X Plus at the time in the early 2000s, or the not early 2000s, excuse me. It was the 2000 teens, like 2011, 12, and stuff like that. That's where I was with this. And I was collecting X Plus because it was starting to rise then. Again, in 2009 was when the 25 centimeter Godzilla 1973 came out, and that was probably one of the first versions. I think that was the first 25 centimeter figure that came out, unless it was the GMK one. I'll have to do my research again, but I was starting to collect those, and I figured, hey, I can talk about these on camera, I guess, because I haven't seen any videos out there of these things of X Plus. So let me give it a shot and see if I can have fun with it, and maybe people will like it. And look at where it came to, I guess, now. I'm not saying that everybody else out there is a copycat, but because I'm the original X Plus reviewer. But I do. So many people told me that they were inspired by my videos of all videos to start doing kaiju reviews of their own, where they started reviewing X Plus stuff. Rich Iso, for one, he's one of my proteges. Don't let him know I said that. He that's why we're such good friends. We talked to each other back in the day, and he said that watching my videos is how he started getting back into collecting again. I think he bought like 13 I can't remember the number, 13 or so X Plus figures all at once from another gentleman. And look at him now. Mr. Fresh Vinyl himself is where that has gotten to. He started collecting and hasn't looked back. And that's awesome. That's all I ever want for any fan. I want them to, that's what I've always tried to portray. I've tried to always portray the message that this fandom's awesome. Go out there and collect what you like and don't look back.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Samson, because like I said, you were the first person I watched. Of course, Rich, Leslie P. Chambers, obviously, Boopzilla, Goji, I forgot his name, Goji 93, something like that. I forgot his name.
Goji Fan 19,
you know what I'm talking about.
Goji Fan 93 or Goji Fan 1993. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
I started watching them, and a combination of all y'all was the reason why I started X Plus collecting, because I wasn't X Plus collecting. I started X Plus collecting I was in 2017. 2017, I got my first X Plus figure.
Wow.
And just watching all y'all views and getting inspired by y'all, like, yeah, let's go and get in this hobby. And the first thing I got, which I don't have anymore, it was the original 1989 Godzilla. I had that. I think I had the diamond reissue of that. I found that on eBay. But then after the 91 Sakai,
30.
The 30. And after I got the 91 Sakai, the Hokkaido version, it was a wrap.
Speaking of 1991 Godzilla, ooh, that new one we got coming. I know you're on the fence. You're like, oh, that's.
I'm fighting so hard not to get it. But Jesus,
it is the figure you're looking for.
What did you say?
I said it is the figure you're looking for.
It might be, because oh my god, I think it's beautiful.
I'm excited. I haven't put in a pre-order yet, but I'm bound to any day now. Let's see. When's my next paycheck? This coming Friday. All right, Friday looks like the proper day to do that.
If I do get it, I don't know, because I love the action pose on it. That just looks absolutely amazing.
That's what. Oh yeah, I agree.
Especially my toy photography. Jesus.
It's gonna make for some great photos. I can't wait to see what people utilize, how they utilize it and stuff. But for the love of God, where's that 1991 Ghidorah, huh?
I swear to God, I need to get that out. I'm so mad waiting for that figure. How long has it been? 2 years now since they announced it? Something like that?
Oh, yeah, the Mecha King Ghidorah. We saw that prototype so long ago. Whatever happened to that?
I know they talked about it on the last show, not this past weekend, but the show before the Godzilla store that they had.
Mm-hmm.
They were saying that they couldn't get it to stand the way they wanted to. I guess it had balancing issues. They was like, yeah, we can't release it like this. We're still going to keep working on it. So I guess they're still working on it, but it's just like,
yeah, no kidding. I give them props for that. I'm glad that they are using their brain and doing quality control on making the thing not just like, we got to get it out. We got to make money. It doesn't matter if it stands or not. If the wings break, just put it out there. That's not what's going to make us fans happy. We want to make sure that we have a quality figure that will stand and display well, and we don't come home with it on the floor in 1,000 pieces.
Rodan.
Oh God, I've heard the Rodan, the SH Monster Arts Ghidorah 91. That's one reason why SH Monster Arts. It may have beautiful sculpts, but that price tag on it compared to how fragile they are, I can't do it. It's just not in me to do it.
No, I'm right there with you, Samson. There's no way none of y'all was gonna talk me into getting SH Monster Arts. I was like, these are the same size as Bandai. Yeah, they're beautiful. Yeah, they're articulated, but you want me to pay how much for a 6-inch figure? I'm good. Thank you.
They kind of went crazy with the prices of them too, because originally the very first one that came out was the 90s, Godzilla 1994, with the atomic breath feature, and I think it was like $60 or $70.
I think so too.
Release them at that price now, that'd be totally acceptable. That'd be fun, but they jumped. It's been over the $100 mark since. God, I can't remember which one started the $100 price tags on those things, but ever since then they've never dropped below that. They don't do it.
So I think it was like Destroyer or King Ghidorah. It was somebody.
One of the big ones. Yeah.
And they were like, oh, y'all gonna pay $100 for Ghidorah? Fine. We're gonna base Godzilla too.
Godzilla, Godzilla Junior, which is like that big. Let's make the money.
Oh, God. I love looking at SH Monster Arts, but just like, nah, I'm sorry. Even now that I buy especially now that I buy X-Plus figures, I ain't never getting SH Monster Arts ever.
I can't either. X-Plus is tied up. That's what I'm tied into when it comes to expensive figures. That or some really retro style stuff like Marmot. That already has taken up quite a section of my bank account. So I think I'm okay. SH Monster Arts can. People that are good with stop motion and love playing with the things, fine. Go have fun with that crap. I'm
exactly.
I'm sticking with my statue style figures. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm in the same spot as you, Samson. Because yeah, no, I spent enough money on X-Plus as it is. I'm already trying to see if I can squeeze that 91 in my budget, but it's not looking good. But we're gonna find out sooner or later. But
if you got,
and I'm running out of space, so it's like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Space is I never worry about that. I mean, look, there's this big old floor right here. I can, let's see, there's a bed. I don't need to sleep in a bed. I can just crawl up in a corner. You can always make room. Come on.
That's what Thomas always tells me too. There's always space. Or like, okay, fine. You come to Texas and you come find out where this space is. I don't have it.
That's one of the main reasons for the longest time. The way that I displayed my shelf was with the mounted on the wall in the kind of L style, where it went from wall to corner and proceeded along the other side of the wall. I was like, I don't have any shelf room I don't have any floor space to put a shelf on. How can I do? Oh, the wall that I'm not using. let me just get some L brackets, some not super heavy duty boards, and I will display my stuff on the wall in the air, 10 feet off the ground, where I hope we don't have an earthquake anytime soon.
I know, especially after my incident with Rodan, I think I need to put him on ceiling because he killed my mom for that. And I still need to get that sin off the fix. So I'm just like, oh, Jesus.
That is upsetting. It terrifies me to keep the bigger figures on the top shelf, but with the amount of space that I have in between shelf boards, I can't put the X Plus Ghidorahs in between the shelves because there's no room for them to fit. So they got to stay on the top where they have like the whole world and then the ceiling eventually to display them. So I make sure that shelf is mounted to the floor properly before I ever try to put that guy up there. Because if that shelf can wiggle in the slightest, if I bump it in timber, then goodbye collection.
I've seen a few collectors post videos of the whole collection like breaking because of earthquakes and random stuff happening. It's like, oh my god. Nobody having insurance, but Jesus.
One of the most tragic ones that I saw was Brian Matash. I still hate trying to pronounce his name. Mustachio was. Mustachio. I just say Mustachio. He had the wall-mounted glass shelves, and something happened. I can't remember what ended up happening, but the very top shelf ended up breaking, and it was a lot of his X Plus stuff was displayed on that shelf. And the very top one broke, and then just a domino effect. They all collapsed. The glass shattered. All the figures fell to the floor. And because giant shards of glass shelving fell down with the figures, some of his stuff got chopped up. Like these big pieces of glass, like that Jet Jaguar you have right there. I don't remember if it was his 25 or his 30 centimeter. It was sliced from the shoulder, like down halfway through his chest section. It was just a piece of glass went right through him. It was devastating to see that. Y'all out there, you got to think clearly about and safely about displaying your stuff, because I would hate for anything to happen to my collection and to have something as devastating as an entire like 4 shelf setup with maybe 50 or so figures on display all come to the floor. And I'm not trying to say that Brian did it improperly or anything. I believe there was just an incident that happened. I don't remember exactly what it was. It was, of course, a freak of nature. Oh man, I'm so sorry. That's so weird that happened kind of situation. It's not he did anything, but it's tragic for sure. Got to be careful when you're shelving, guys. Shelf safety. That's all right, whatever. I can't think of what I was trying to actually say. Shelf safety, y'all.
Okay, so of course a few months ago you did your Full House video, which I was a part of, and everybody absolutely loved that.
Thank you so much.
Any future projects you're working on?
Not currently. I have been so tied up with my full-time job that's why every once in a while I've put out just a small little gimmick video that might be less than 10 seconds long or so. That's just kind of just a random little funny idea that I thought, oh man, I can record this in seconds, put it online. But I don't have any big parody ideas or any big projects in mind for the moment. Believe me, it's been racking on my brain trying to be like, oh man, I had such fun doing that. I need to think of some other gimmick or some other kind of idea to do. But at the moment, to answer your question, at the moment, I do not.
Yeah, that's kind of, I'm kind of the same boat too. I mean, we got our next episode with Monsters Attitude figured out. He's got scheduled it, but after that, I don't know what to do. I'm in the same boat. I don't have anything planned yet.
That's okay. Sometimes we run into little speed bumps like that. We don't always, our brain kind of needs a rest sometimes. But this has been my project that I've been looking forward to for a while, being part of this show. I was so excited when you told me that you wanted me to be part of it and come on here and talk to you and the other people out there that comment or what have you. And this has been my project lately. Tongue tied.
Okay, so of course we'll get into some more nitty gritty of Godzilla.
Okay.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite Godzilla movie and your favorite Kaiju movie in general?
Favorite Godzilla movie for sure is Godzilla versus Gigan. Even though my first film was Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 74, Gigan has always held a very special place in my heart as my favorite film. I love Godzilla. Godzilla's suit in that, the 72 suit is phenomenal to me, even though it's just the 68 suit, but more beat up. There's something about the face. He has more sharp like look to his eyes. It's just a little bit more menacing. And they shaped up the 68 suit just enough where I just like the way it looks a little better right there. And Gigan is such a great kaiju villain cyborg. He's just a big spiky chicken, but still it's a unique kaiju that you don't see very often. It was the 70s is where they really got creative with their kaiju instead of just making large versions of existing creatures. Like, let's see, Ebiro the lobster, Kamacuras the praying mantis, Kamonga the giant spider. We see a lot of just big bugs and animals, but Gigan was he's a standout kaiju. I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that Hedra was he's a radioactive pile of crap, so that's just a big version of poo. But Gabbro was definitely interesting too. But anyway, so I'm trailing off into a random ADHD tangent. So yes, Godzilla vs. Gigan was my favorite film. As for my favorite, and what's your other question? My favorite non-Godzilla
favorite kaiju movie.
Does it have Godzilla or just non-Godzilla?
Non-Godzilla.
War of the Gargantuas.
That's definitely an awesome pick.
I've seen it. I saw it recently. The first time I ever saw it was with Rich Iso, and just such a great score. It's Haruo Nakajima, of course, so that's awesome. And the kaiju and story is great, and all the actors that are in it. It was a lot of fun, and I kind of want to get them back in my collection. I sold off. I had the diamond reissue of the 30 centimeter figures, and I had to because they were worth a lot of money at the time, and I was not doing so great. I sold them off and profited. I think I turned like half the money around by Godzilla stuff instead of paying for bills. But hey, a lot of us do that, right? I'm not evil for doing that. But yeah, the Gargantuas, I love them. They're great. Kaiju, the designs, they're a big brown and green Bigfoot with one's a man eater and one's not. The man eater. So I really love those, and even the 25 centimeter figures would be fine if I can get those back. But I do really dig the 30 centimeter sculpts and poses. So if I could ever snag those again one day, or heck, why don't they reissue them again? Because I know the diamonds were the second time they reissued, but hey, they were a popular kaiju. Everybody loves them. Let's see them again. Favorite sculptures line. Come on, let's do favorite sculptures line, Gyra and Sanda. Ooh, that's
I'm
good.
surprised they haven't yet, to be honest. I've been on it lately.
Yeah, they've done most of the other non-Godzilla Toho kaiju. Rodan, Varan. Was Frankenstein part of the favorite sculptures line, or was he just 25 centimeter release?
I think it was just 25 centimeter release, but I could be wrong. But I think it was with the 25 centimeter release.
And did they not do the Mogira, the original show of Mogira?
They did.
Was he a favorite sculptor? I know that they made a 25, but it wasn't one of them a favorite sculptures.
You said what?
Was the other one? I know they did the 25 centimeter, but was the other one? Didn't they do a favorite sculptors line version of him?
It was the 1957 30 centimeter Mogira. They did that one.
Okay. Well, yeah, that would be great if they did that. So, yes, Godzilla vs. Gigan is my favorite Godzilla film, and kaiju just in general would be non-Godzilla films, War of the Gargantuas.
I definitely get that, because I don't know why Godzilla vs. Gigan doesn't get talked about enough. I love that film too. I think it's in either my top 10 or top 20 for favorite Godzilla movies. Gigan is absolutely awesome. Godzilla suit is a bit beat up, but hey, if Godzilla's not beat up, he's not doing his job right, I guess.
That was one of the first times you saw him really bleed too. I think he had a little bit of blood on him when he was fighting Hedra. I think he might have shed some blood, but it wasn't. It didn't splurt out of his shoulder. That was and Anguirus too. God, Gigan shed a lot of blood in that movie.
He did. Gigan was out for blood for sure in that movie.
He was giving them King of the Monsters and his tag team buddy a beating.
Right. Even though King Ghidorah kind of played a Mega Godzilla role until Mega Godzilla, he just kind of just looked along and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna let him do the work. I'm good. I gotta do nothing."
I'm just gonna sit here and cackle in the background at what this big chicken guy's doing.
Like, oh, you trying to sneak up with me? Sneak up on me? Nah, I'm good.
Oh, that was great when Anguirus and you just like that head reared behind him. What the hell you think you're doing?
Poor Anguirus. Oh my god. He gets bullied so much in that movie, and worse than Godzilla versus Mega Godzilla.
Oh god, that was just brutal. He needed to take a rest after that. I'm not surprised he didn't show up in Terror Mechagodzilla. He made small cameos from 72, 73, and 74, but after 74, he was like, all right, I can't even talk anymore. My jaw is down here, so I'm just gonna take a breather. Godzilla can do it on his own next movie. I'm not having any part of this.
Right? Because
I got my butt kicked in every single movie. I got my face slashed by that big chicken chainsaw guy. I fell down a giant hole at the beginning of Megalon and didn't show back up until 1974 when I thought it was you, but it wasn't. You had some weird roar, and somehow you had the strength 10 times your regular and broke my damn jaw. So I'm not gonna show up again until 2004. So thank you very much.
I know he went into a super deep hibernation after that, and I don't blame him either because he was jacked.
But speaking of guy, were you going to ask what my favorite kaiju enemy was at some point, or is this part of the section? Because I was going to say I brought a bunch of Gigan stuff to showcase as the big Gigan fan that I am.
Oh, actually, that's actually the next question after this time. This is the next question actually.
Okay. Well, hey man,
go ahead. I was going to ask you. So we do have those Godzilla films that we just don't visit too often. Same thing with Kaiju. So what's your least favorite Godzilla movie and least favorite Kaiju movie, if you have?
Least favorite Godzilla movie. Well, like I told you, I don't visit the Heisei era all that often. But out of the Heisei films, my least favorite one is probably, even though it has some really cool kaiju in it, the 1991 film is kind of not my favorite. Even though Godzilla is totally a sci-fi, unrealistic representation of anything, the whole time travel thing was like, this is getting Star Trek-y up in here. This is a little too sci-fi. I'm sorry, I can't deal with it. And just, it is so campy. Robert Scott Field's character, I'm not making fun of Robert Scott Field in any manner or form, but his character in that one scene with the exaggerated run where everything's going flying by and somehow his arms are just going at a regular pace and he's just able to speed. That was so funny and ridiculous to me. Like funny and ridiculous isn't something we see in Godzilla films, but that was just way out there. But that's my least watched Heisei film. The least watched film in the Showa era, though, for me, would actually have to be the 55 film, because I especially don't like the English dub version of that. They gave Godzilla and Anguirus the same roar, which was like, why did they change that up? They both have Anguirus's roar. Godzilla didn't have his own roar in that film. They both had Anguirus's roar in 1955, and I thought, for the English dub one, I thought that's so weird, and just it wasn't my favorite versus movie out of all the kaiju throwdowns. I just kind of didn't like that one the most. And as for the 2000 films, my least watched one of that series would probably be Against Mechagodzilla, the 2002 2002 one, the first Mechagodzilla of the two films. I actually don't really watch either one of them very often, but those are probably the ones that I don't watch the most out of that. And as for the most disliked, I don't really dislike any, but there's ones that I don't really enjoy as much. I actually have not seen every single Toho film. Like I have not seen Varan the Unbelievable. I have not seen Mysterians. And I've only seen a handful. I've only seen Rodan. I've seen Rodan a couple times. I've seen Mothra 1961 one time. And what else am I missing? Frankenstein Conquers the World I've seen several times because that one's great. So I shouldn't even mention him in the negative. While I'm talking about negative films, why did I even bring that up? So no, exactly. Frankenstein Conquers the World is phenomenal. I'm trying to think what I might be leaving out here. I've never seen Atragon either. There's a handful of them that I haven't seen because they kind of haven't been widely available, and some of them I haven't heard the most amazing. I heard that the Varan dub is just terrible. I heard that the English version of that is almost a completely different movie, so that turned me off of trying to want to watch that, even if it is Haruo Nakajima's suit acting skills in that film. So that's actually kind of a hard question for me to answer since I haven't seen every single non-Godzilla Toho film. I can't give a proper answer because I don't have a solid opinion as to each of those films.
No, that's fair. Because I'm completely on your side with Godzilla Rage Again. The only thing that and honestly, Godzilla Revenge actually used to be my least favorite film, but that's because it's dark footage. But to be fair, Godzilla Rage Again is I probably watched that less than I watched Godzilla Revenge, and especially the English dub, even the English dub doing the Japanese dub. It was like it's like I can't unhear the same roar that they had in the English dub. That just pissed me off. Just
you got to admit though, one of the best lines that I've ever heard of came out of that film. Oh, banana oil. When he was because they didn't have a way to translate what from what he was saying, which it was like, oh, that's ridiculous, or oh, you're just being weird. So what they did was they made him say, oh, banana oil. So that
was so weird. I was like, what? Banana oil?
Okay, I guess that's bullshit in Japanese. So banana oil wasn't okay. Sure, but that's a great like. We should try to do this. Banana oil. That's stupid.
Yeah, that thing that I heard. I was like, wait, what? Oh, okay. All right. So now for the next question, was that you actually touched on a moment ago. Your favorite Godzilla suit and your favorite kaiju.
All right. For the fun part. So yes, favorite suit is definitely the 72. Which I have one of my favorite figures of that representation. This is the Marmot Kit Godzilla 1972, which this one was pre-painted and built because it's a figure, it's a kit. And it's very simple to put together because it just comes like basically like if you had a disassembled X Plus figure and you just had to heat all the holes up and plug them in. You don't have to do any major cutting or anything like that. But as a kit version of it, it does come unpainted, which I actually have that version of it too. I have two of them. I have the pre-painted and pre-built version, and I have a non-painted version. So we got both of them right here. And my dream was if X Plus would ever get back to the 72 suit, I would love to see a bloody nose and kind of bloody shoulder version of the figure. So that's what I kind of envision and dream of doing with this guy, is doing a custom bloody nose, bloody shoulder paint job on him, because that would make him stand out in any collection. That's one of the only things, not only thing, but that's one of the great things about the 72 suit that would stand out amongst the other 68 through 72 suits. So that, and the pre-painted one, what I especially love about this guy is that I had mine. This is one of the only figures that I have that was signed by Haruo Nakajima right there on the tail. I got it signed. He had a gold Sharpie, and I got him to sign the last representation of Godzilla that he ever portrayed, which was my favorite version. And yeah, so this is one of my most cherished items in my collection for sure. Favorite suit. Last time he was Godzilla, and it's the only figure that I got personally signed by him. The other one that I have is the actual M1 Nakajima figure, but a buddy of mine sold that to me, and he was the one that had that signed. It was not by me.
Mm.
So, and actually kind of a neat feature with the kit version of the 72 Marmot Kit, since the pre-painted one didn't come with this for some reason, but the kit version did. It comes with this little square base thing. It's a section of the destroyed Godzilla Tower. It's the claw, just one of the claws of the Godzilla Tower, like it's a bunch of rubble after it got destroyed. It's just a neat little, like a Rick feature. It's a Rick extra that comes with the Marmot kit version, and you can paint that and have yourself a little Godzilla Tower rubble to put next to him. I've always thought that was great. So I'm trying to decide whether I want to send it to somebody else to have it painted, or if I want to try to do it myself and kind of be proud of the fact that I was able to do a customization on something myself. But we'll see how far that goes. I haven't decided yet on what I'm going to do about customizing a personal one. So yeah, 72, favorite Godzilla suit. And the second part of the question was my favorite villain.
Yeah, favorite kaiju in general.
All right. Guy again, all about some Guy again. 72 goes along with Guy again. One of the greatest representations is the 25 centimeter one for sure. Oh God, this guy is so beautiful. And this is the very first release of the 25 centimeter one. And the Rick version of this guy is that you can pop the head off, and it has this little switch. It's like a battery switch, and it's what makes the eye light up.
Ooh.
So there's no plug on the figure. You just take it off, and then with all of my Samson strength, shove it back in. All right. Usually I would have a hair dryer for this, but you can get it in there. There it goes. See? And now you have Guy Gann with his eyeball all lit up with no. Oh, it just got dark. All right. I usually have my. There we go. I use my TV as my light. So yeah, you got Guy Gann with the. Actually, that was a great moment for that. The light went out, and I'm trying to showcase the light up eye. Why didn't I?
Yeah, that actually was perfect.
Oh, I'm so dumb. That was actually perfect timing. Thank you, Fate, for doing that for me. I ignored you and decided just no. I want to be able to see me, not the light up feature. Me. But I thought that was really great, and a lot of people didn't know that because not many people realize. I don't know a lot of people that have the very original Rick version of this guy. I showcased when I was on Leslie's show, Leslie Chambers' show a while back, and I was talking about this, and I showed how that's the original Rick version. And he said, as the huge kaiju enthusiast or X Plus enthusiast that he is, he was like, "Wow, I didn't know that was the original Rick version. I didn't know that that's how they did it. That it just the whole head popped off." I think everybody was so used to just a plug on the back of the heel, and that was like the way that they adopted that way, and they didn't go back. They never did removable pieces with like a big battery pack thing already attached to the figure. So that's kind of cool.
Honestly.
It is kind of a pain and weird for sure to pull that on and off, and it's terrifying, but they have it in such a way where I'm not scared of damaging the figure. So that's one Guy Gann figure that I love. That's great representation. Another one from your favorite film, or you say first or favorite. I already forgot what you were talking. Megalon was your first or favorite?
Megalon is my first.
So this is the 73. This is by Gigabrain. This is one of the only representations of the 73 suit, and he's 9-inch scale, just like X Plus. So you can pose him with the 25 centimeter Jet Jaguar, Godzilla 73, and Megalon, and the lineup looks great together with this guy. His arms articulate, his claws spin like that, his head articulates, arms, legs, tail. It's a great figure, and do you have one of these yet?
No, I don't. I have the 30 centimeter Gigan, but not the Marmot. I need to find a Marmot actually. As much because Gigan's my second favorite villain.
Oh, but I do have the Marmot, but this is Gigabrain that made this guy.
But I want Gigabrain. Gigabrain, yeah.
Yeah. So Gigabrain Gigan. I'll let his head rest in the corner there. But speaking of Marmot, booyah!
There's a
Marmot Monster Heaven version, which is, oh god, such another great representation. Mine's a little banged up because whoever sold it to me, I think it sat in a basket with other kaiju for a while. Luckily, all the paint scratches that are on him somehow only stayed on the silver parts, like the horn, the claw, maybe his foot, the chainsaw blade. So any touching up that this guy needs, it just has to be silver. So that'll be an easy fix at some point in time. So there's that guy again. So wherever I was, I did 25 centimeter. I did Gigabrain. I got Marmots, and now another Marmot that I am very, very in love with. Look at this little guy. The Gigabrain guy again. Or no, I just already said, I'm losing my mind. My brain is working faster than my mouth right now. My mouth is working faster than my brain. See? Ugh. I haven't even had any drink. I swear, I'm completely sober. I haven't had any drinks tonight yet. This is just regular stupid Samson talking. I'm not even influenced by anything at the moment. What's going on here? So, Marmot Power Baby Gigan with the little flying Gigan feature. So great. That's what. This has been such a fun figure line, and I just recently completed it. I got my very last of the lineup not so long ago. I need to take a big group picture of all of them. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I only got 2 more Gigans to show, and I promise I won't keep you much longer. Because I apologize if you were wanting to limit your show to a certain time. I know we're almost hitting the hour mark. Oh, we have hit the hour mark. So I didn't know.
Fine, don't worry.
I didn't know if you were wanting to keep it under an hour. I guess I should have warned you before we started. You're interviewing. Do you realize that I talk? I don't know if that's something we've ever discussed. I thought everybody else realized that by now. I'm a talker. This is one of the greatest representations of Gigan that exists. This is the Marmot Kit version of Gigan.
That is cool.
He's 30 centimeter scale, believe it or not, which I've always was kind of disappointed by because you put him and the Marmot Kit Godzilla together. He's like a whole head taller than Godzilla. They're not in scale with each other. I know Gigan was a little taller than Godzilla, but I don't think Godzilla was staring at the middle of Gigan's neck.
Yeah, I don't think Godzilla was that much smaller than Gigan.
But what's cool about this one is his beak opens and closes, and his side pincers go in and out. So you can pose him how you want to, like with a closed beak and open pincers, or closed pincers and an open beak, or closed everything.
Yeah, I need to find that one now. That's a nice guy.
Something that happened with mine that it got some weird scratches on the side pincers, and I removed the paint, and I haven't gone back around to repainting them. So he has like some bone white pincers compared to the rest of his face, which is silver beak. I need to go back and do that so that he can actually be properly displayed. Last Gigan figure. The original Showa Bandai Gigan from back in the 90s. The Bandai. This isn't a reissue one. This one has a lot of paint scuffs on it too. So this is one of the original ones. So
that's really nice.
Good old 6-inch Bandai. Go Bandai or go with something else. You can love whatever you want. I wasn't about to say go home because whatever. So Gigan, yeah, I guess I kind of like Gigan if you haven't caught on to that yet.
That's a little bit. and the thing, I almost brought Gigan to Titanosaurus, but I was like, but then I have the big Godzilla. But yeah, I guess I brought my Gigan.
One thing going on a different tangent, like, weird. Samson's going to talk about something different out of nowhere. Have you seen the prototype picture? Or they only have like a few teasers, but the MM8 Godzilla 1975 that's supposed to come out.
I have not.
I know it's going to be a resin kit, but you're familiar, of course, with the MM8 line, which is what a lot of X Plus figures are based off of.
Mm-hmm.
There is a teaser floating around out there for the MM8 Godzilla 1975 that is going to come out. I need to do some better research on the thing, if it's coming out this year or not. But man, even though the Billiken is probably one of the greatest representations of the 75 Godzilla, I've always been a little disappointed with what X Plus has come out with. There's even with the 30 centimeter, which I don't own. That one doesn't really still capture it perfectly for me yet.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
and as much as I do love my 30 centimeter 75 Godzilla, now when I look at it, it's like, okay, they could have done this, this, and this, and it would be absolutely perfect. It's nice, and I still enjoy and love to have bigger, but if X Plus makes another 75, 30 centimeter Godzilla figure, or BG Sakai finally does a show of Godzilla, yeah, I'm buying it.
Yeah, no kidding. Where's our? Give us some more 70s representations. Come on, they're very lackluster in the 30 centimeter 70s. We might have.
They really are. I feel like that's the only line that they really don't touch for 30 centimeter figures is any of the 75 movies. Lord knows me, it's 71 Godzilla. Need 72. Need 7. Honestly, we just need everything. All the 70s Godzillas. Honestly, we have one. If that's it.
A 74 period at this point needs to happen.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I almost did get the dang Defo Wheel 74. I mean, that thing was cute.
The head looks great. That's the one thing that I love about the Defo. Well, I don't collect the Defo Reels, but the head sculpts are always perfect. But then it's like, well, what happened to the rest of it? Because the head, I feel like you could chop the head off of a Defo Reel figure and put it on a 25 centimeter Godzilla body, and it would be great.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, people have their unique taste, and they're allowed to. So the people that collect those things, that's fine. But it's not something for me, to tell you the truth. Like I don't need to collect the little deformed figures like that.
Yeah, and I wouldn't collect pop figures as it is. Adding Defo Wheels to my collection is just, it's like you said, it's not for me. I do understand why people buy them, but it's just not my cup of tea.
It's just like, plus I'm like, I don't need another expensive toy line to collect at the moment, to be honest. I'm fine. I'll just deal with the 25s, 30s, and random stuff in between. Thank you very much.
Right. And I guess this leads to my next question. What's your least favorite Godzilla suit and or kaiju?
Least favorite suit. Well, we all know what the ugliest Godzilla suit in the fandom is. The 1967 suit. It has just its features are very off. It's the most Kermit the Frog looking thing that I've ever seen. I mean, it's like they took a frog and decided to mount it, the frog's head, and they mounted it onto Godzilla's body. You got to love how dumb it looks, though, because every figure representation of it is great. The toys are phenomenal. I don't have the 30, which is probably the best representation, but I do have the Marmot Monster Heaven one with the matte paint job to it, the kind of realistic looking paint job. So it's a great figure. But yeah, the two that I dislike the most are definitely 67 and 55. The 55 is a very odd looking Godzilla suit as well.
Yeah, wasn't there some story about like the original Godzilla suit getting stolen or something? That's why they had to make the 55 the way they did? Or they just made, I forgot what the story, I know there's a story behind it, but yeah, I can't do the 55 either, or the 67.
55, he was made, specifically he was made the way he was because of how much the suit weighed. Like the original Godzilla suit weighed over 240 pounds. And since they were bringing Godzilla back, Nakajima was like, listen, can we have it a little easier to move around in, just a little bit, please? I'll do whatever you want, please, by all means. But can I not die of heat exhaustion in this next film? That'd be great.
Yeah.
I know that's why they made. I don't know why they sculpted the face the way they did, but that's why he's like a much skinnier and kind of taller looking Godzilla for sure. They tried to limit the weight of the suit.
Yeah, but the face, they lost the face.
Yeah, it's something just very odd and off about it. It's I can't put my finger on it either. There's a lot more experts out there that probably know so much more than we do. They can answer the questions why they did the way they did, but I'm not one of them. I just like me some toys.
I'm not one of them either. It would be nice, but I'm not one of them either. So with that being said, I'll go on to my next question. What was your first collectible? Or if you still have it, what's your first collectible and do you still have it?
No. First collectible I ever got is this little guy right here. This is the one that I got when I was like 5 or 6 years old. Mm-hmm. Coincidentally, my first film, as I said, was Godzilla vs. Cosmic Monster. And boom, first figure was the Bandai 6-inch King Caesar. My mom sold jewelry when I was young for a living, and she had like a little booth set up in downtown Athens here in Georgia where she would sell. And she was parked basically right in front of this comic shop that was up a little flight of stairs. And I still remember the name. I don't know if it's downtown anymore. I think it might have closed down since the pandemic happened, but the place had a kind of unique name. It was called Bizarro Wuxtree. Bizarro Wuxtree was the name of it. And that guy worked there from when I was that young, when I was 5 or 6, to just a couple of years ago. I don't remember. I haven't been downtown since the pandemic happened, so I don't know if he's still down there. But he sold me this guy, or my mom technically bought it for me. I asked her, Mom, I want to go in that place and see what they got. Can I have some money? And they had this guy. So out of anything Godzilla, they had this guy, and they had Gigan. But I didn't have enough to get Gigan. But I knew I was very familiar with him since I'd seen the film. So I bought this. I bought this guy, and this is the exact one that I've had since I was 5 years old. He's been through a lot. He was played with, but I think that he's still in kind of considerably good condition. There's some paint rubs here and there, like maybe on the tips of his claws. And I did actually repaint the eyes because it comes with black pupils originally. But I was like, that's not how it looked in the movie. He had spirally eyes. He had like spots. So I tried to attempt to do that myself. It's very hard to see, but I used like a pen and I tried to draw like circle, like circle, big, smaller to make the kind of spiral effect in his eyeballs. So I did kind of ruin the value of him by customizing it myself with that. It doesn't look that great, but still, I still cherish this guy being the first collectible I got as a 5-year-old. And it's survived all this time. And it's not broken whatsoever. And it has very minor paint rubs, like on the tips of the ears and maybe the tips of the toes and the claws. But this is my first guy.
Yeah, I have no. I have the original Treadmasters, the Warring Godzilla, and I do not know how he survived from my childhood either. Because that thing, I beat that thing to hell.
You still have it?
Yeah, I still have it. He's in my room. He's in my bedroom.
Man,
I should have bought him, but maybe next video. But yeah, he's my first. He's definitely my first collectible, and he survived through all my childhood. And he was the only Godzilla I had until I was up to about 11 or 12, and I found the 6-inch Imperial Godzilla at a garage sale and I got it for like $5 there. So I was like, okay.
Oh man, I don't. There's one other thing that I still actually have from my childhood. It's not my first. Like I said, I still wish I had my very first VHS tape, the Godzilla vs. Cosmic Monster, which that's a common misconception in the fandom. A lot of people, they say Godzilla versus the Cosmic Monster. That's actually not the title of the film that was put on it. There is no "the" in it. It just says Godzilla versus Cosmic Monster, kind of like the common Luke, I am your father. That line was never said. It was just, no, I am your father. So yeah, it's not Godzilla versus the Cosmic Monster. It's just Cosmic Monster. I don't have that, but what I do have, I need to very gently figure out how I can open this box and get to the item inside, because what I have is it's buried underneath a bunch of other kaiju stuff. I have another VHS tape that has survived my childhood, and I have a funny story behind it. So I got a bunch of the new Singular Point Bandais right here. And inside of my little kaiju box, my mom collected together a big box that she made herself. She decorated it with a bunch of random Godzilla stuff kind of wrapped around it. It was like a picture of Godzilla jumping with the Planet X people, Godzilla 54, just a bunch of random Godzilla stuff. And inside it is a bunch of stuff that I spilled all over the place. Is a bunch of collectibles of mine, like G-Fest tags, stuff from going to G-Fest over the years, all my name tags with my name on them. I still have all of those. But inside this box is my original VHS tape that I've had since I was a kid of Godzilla vs. Sea Monster.
Oh, wow.
This is the one that I had when I was saying that I had, that was one of the films growing up. All right, let me place that down before I destroy something. God, this and this artwork has always been really cool to me. I've always loved the artwork that they used for this. And it's got just a unique close-up, even though that's the close-up of the 84 face for some reason.
Because they always did that, all the movies in the 90s. Jesus, that confused me.
They always did, but yeah, just oh my God, I've been looking these. Okay, little surprise for myself. I just pulled the VHS tape out, and oh and behold, inside of it, I guess I don't even remember doing this, is all these little chibi drawings that the magnificent Christine Chapin did for me. Little chibi drawings, Godzilla and Ghidorah, Godzilla vs. Gigan with the Godzilla Tower, and Terror of Mechagodzilla.
Those so dope. Oh my God.
Those were in the sleeve with the VHS tape. God, I've been wondering where those were. I was so worried that I'd lost them. Oh man, I want some more too. Christine, if you're watching, hey, hit me up. I'll buy them. I'll pay for them. Don't worry. I don't expect them for free. But a unique story about this one, since it is a VHS tape. For y'all out there that don't know that DVDs and Blu-ray are not the only thing that ever existed, this is called a VHS tape. So, yeah, you used to have to rewind stuff in order to watch it again. Weird concept, right? God. Because this was a VHS tape, and me being a kid, not understanding controls and everything, when the movie was over, and you see beautiful Mothra flying away with the heroes, and there's the triumphant music and stuff, instead of hitting the stop button, I hit the record button on my VHS tape player. Just right at the very end, right when the movie was about to say the end. So if you go back and rewatch that, a little fun tidbit about my specific copy is that you're watching it, there's Mothra, and then all of a sudden just like that VHS static of it transferring from something to something else. And it's a couple, like 10 seconds of some clips from America's Funniest Home Videos from back in the early 90s. And just the horrible commentary that whoever the host was at the time going, little Jimmy seems to have fallen down or something, so whatever, the stupid thing that the host of the show would always say. So I've always thought that was a funny, unique tidbit about my specific copy of that. Was like, oh, it's beautiful, Mothra saved the day and Godzilla survived the island explosion. Oh, look, there's a kid in his diaper with like pudding on his face now. Okay.
Oh my.
So I will cherish that because that's the exact VHS that I had when I was in the early 90s now, or to what some people call the late 1900s.
God.
I can't.
Somebody says that to me, I'm going to chop my throat.
Yes, the late 1900s, you say? Millennials. Well, technically I am one.
I need to find all my Godzilla tapes that I have on VHS, and I have actual Godzilla movies, and I have actual ones I dubbed because, oh heaven forbid, if you didn't know how to record in the '90s, you wasn't watching stuff again.
Oh man, what a time to be alive! VHS tapes. It's great that I still was able to hold on to a VHS tape from that childhood era of mine, one of the originals. But God, to have the very, very original one, the actual Godzilla vs. Cosmic Monster tape, that would have been a very cherished item of mine. Sorry, I'm trying to put some things away without breaking everything so that I can scoot back up.
You're fine. So as we're still talking about collectibles, what is your number one favorite collectible that you have?
I think I might have answered that earlier because it is personally the figure that I was able to get personally signed by Haruo Nakajima myself, and it's my favorite suit. This has got to be my favorite piece since it is the only figure that is signed by Nakajima that when I met him, had him sign for me. And it just means so much to me to have a part of history signed by a historical figure, because that's what Haruo Nakajima is. He is a historical figure, being Godzilla for so long. The Godzilla that most of us know and love. He was Godzilla the longest. He always will be. He portrayed him the best out of any of the other Godzillas, and just to have this guy in my collection, just it means so much to me. And I owe the world to James Hartman. He's the one that sold me the M1, Nakajima figure that's signed on the chest. I owe him so much than just the money that I paid for it. That's such a beautiful figure too. It was just a shame that I was not able to achieve one and get it signed personally and I didn't get to meet Nakajima again and have it signed. He unfortunately passed away before I was able to get one of my own and have him sign it. But those two have got to be my favorite figures because they're both signed by the big man himself.
Yeah, it would have been amazing to meet Nakajima. At least from other people, I've heard a lot of good things from him. He was a great man. I mean, hey, he's the reason why a lot of us are here today, talking Godzilla. Without him, wouldn't have 66 years of Godzilla. Or 67. No, yeah, 66 years of Godzilla.
It's not just the monster man, it's the man behind the suit that made the monster. So if we fans owe everything to that man, and to be able to meet him was such an honor and a great achievement in life. The first time I met him was in 2015. Rich Iso invited me and a few other friends to go to Anime Boston in a convention that happened in Chicago, not Chicago, in Boston. Duh. Yes, Anime Boston in Chicago. So we went to Boston, and there was a special dinner for those that were able to pay the extra fun price for it, and we got to eat dinner with Haruo Nakajima and Akira Takarada. So a lot of us, that was the first time that I met him, and we took pictures with him. We had translators there, and he was just so humble, and he just looking around at all of us as we're trying to talk to him and stuff. I don't know how much English he actually really understood or knew, but he saw the smiling faces, and I think that was the first time he had been back in America seeing fans since the late 90s. So. And to go from the late 90s to 2015 and that long without seeing what Godzilla fans had become and how much we loved him, he was definitely loved, and he knew it. We showed him that we loved him, and it was a fun time for sure.
Yeah, that definitely was a very, very fun time. It would have been crazy to meet him, even to see him. Because I know one year when I was at Comic-Con, I want to say, I forgot what year it was, but I was legit like 3 seconds away from seeing Stan Lee. When he was alive, and he was right. I think I saw at the back of his head, and he was downstairs, and I was up. So I was like, oh my God, it's Stan Lee! So I had that same type of giddy. I experienced that giddy feeling, but
yeah.
Kojima, Jesus, I probably would have passed out.
That is the perfect term for it. It doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl. Giddy is exactly how you felt about meeting that man. Nostalgia and giddiness. I mean, we all turned back into the little boys again when we got to see. It was like, it's Toru Nakajima.
Exactly.
He was just a very humble and very just appreciative man. I mean, I've seen interviews with subtitles where he said that he loves American fans the most. Like he said, that we have a way about us where we're enthusiastic and express how much we love the fandom much more than the Japanese fans, apparently. And so he really enjoyed his time here and spending that time with us. And that just meant the world to me that we were able to show how much we loved him, and he knew it. And so it was great.
Okay, so at least the last question that I have for now.
Okay.
Something else. And we kind of touched on this earlier, but we'll touch on it again. What's the next collectible you're gonna get, or what's the new release that you have set in store that you know you're getting?
Well, I have some stuff on the way that y'all are gonna have to wait for my next showcase to see. But the next thing that I really want to order, and we were talking about this, I'm kind of I was like, nah, but then I looked at it more and I was like, yeah, that new Sakai 2000 looks so good. It actually, even though it was not what Godzilla 2000 actually looked like, it is so good.
Yes.
So that one and the new Sakai 1991 are definitely some hit list items that I would like to get. I need to get my funds in place to make sure that I can actually do that comfortably and be able to eat, I guess, after that. So we'll see where it goes. But those are big hit list items for me that I would like to grab if I can. Aside from that, I mean, there's not really much. Again, I said I'm a big Showa fan. There's not much Showa stuff out there. There's Bandai figures, a bunch of the new Bandai figures I would like to get. There's some Singular Point figures that I don't have quite yet, and I have pre-ordered. It's been on pre-order for a while, but the new Jet Jaguar with like the karate pose look to him is coming out, and I immediately pre-ordered the new Megalon, even though people kind of trash talked him. And his horn's too big. It's a toy. It's not.
It's just it's a kid's toy. Like, it's a little big, but the kid.
If you want accurate, get an X Plus. They got them. They exist. They're expensive, but if not, you'll have to settle for a $30, not completely accurate figure. Mm-hmm. So I got Jaguar, Megalon, and Mechagodzilla 2021 are on pre-order currently from Bandai. Mm-hmm. And I know we saw a lot of great stuff over this weekend. We finally got to see what the new Gorosaurus is supposed to look like. A lot of people gave it some slack saying it's just the original one from the 80s, but with that it's the same skull but downsized. There are some subtle differences. I saw that his fangs, like his two front teeth, his fangs are actually kind of longer, like Gorosaurus actually has. And there's some different features on him that are not the same. And we haven't seen what he looks like painted up yet either, so we can't really give it a lot of hate yet. Come on, love it or leave it.
Right. Well, of course, I'm getting that Godzilla 2000. There's no one, and my girlfriend's trying to fight me on it, but like, nah, you ain't winning this one. I'm getting that Godzilla 2000. The 1991 is.
I know you're still struggling to push the button and say buy, but
I am. Like I'm so every day I'm closer and closer to this messing Jason. Like, let's go ahead and do it. I'm not there yet. I have the 2019 Rodan on pre-order because I absolutely love that Rodan. That Rodan is awesome. Rodan in that movie was absolutely amazing.
I missed out on the pre-order for the 2019 Rodan. I really wanted the Rick one because it had the more fiery winged paint scheme on it. The wings were more orange and vibrant, more fire looking, and the regular is kind of dumbed down. Like
I don't know why they did that with the Death World too. That I don't know why. Why did they do that? I don't get it.
His wings were never actually put out either. They were never not fiery. So, the only thing that would have made more sense is if the regular version was full fiery form and the Rick lit up fiery form.
Yeah,
that's the route they should have gone. But to make him like extinguished, like the non-Rick be extinguished form, why? That means
that was just that was a dumb decision.
that is one that I would like. I might have to pay aftermarket prices, but I'll try to get the Rick version of that once it comes out.
Yeah, and of course, and yeah, I got the Rick on that, and I got the 1992 Mothra because I don't know why something about that Mothra is just beautiful to me, so I had to get that Mothra.
The 92 Mothra, I've always found the 92 and 2004 or 2003, whichever you want. The Heisei and Millennium Mothra, at least the Mecha Godzilla one. The GMK Mothra is great too, but I found that the 92 and 2004 version of Mothra, those are one of the most beautiful representations of the Mothra that I've ever seen. They're like more vibrant and real, and I've always really dug those two designs. I didn't pre-order or get the 92. I probably will sometime after because I always like to get one of every representation of every monster, regardless of if I like it or not. I bought a lot of Marmot stuff and some kits, and that Godzilla vs. Gigan poster that I got not too long ago that I'm working on getting a custom frame for it. I can't wait. So I did not pull the trigger on the 92 Mothra, unfortunately. I had some other stuff that I had to take care of first.
Yeah.
But it'll still be out there. I'm sure that I'll be able to get it at some point. Again, even if I have to pay aftermarket prices, that's the price you pay for waiting.
Pretty much. As long as they don't try and upcharge it the day it freaking comes out.
I can't. Yeah, dude. When I see people do that, like, that's why eBay is such a menace now. I can't shop on eBay. There's some times where you get lucky, but it's like, hey, I want to get a 30 centimeter Godzilla 62. $5,000. No, I can't do it.
I know, like my ever searching hunt for Shin Godzilla. Every time I go on eBay, I'm just like, why? What? No. Okay, we're not getting shit.
I wonder why the Sakai Shin Godzilla costs as much as he does. The Sakai's always are a little bit more aftermarket price, but why was he in particular such a heavily priced figure this long after his release, which technically wasn't that many years ago?
You really was.
Which, Rich, how dare you? You sold that without my permission. Rich.
Oh my God! Another buddy of mine, Tony, told me he had 3 Shin Sakais and he sold them all. I was like,
why did he have 3? Where did he get 3? How did he get 3?
That's what I asked. I'm like, why did you have 3? What are you doing? I guess he sold it, bought it again to see if he'd still love it. Still didn't love it. Sold it, bought it again. I was like, okay. All right, if you got it like that, be my guest, but damn.
What the hell does he do for a living that he can do that? God. That's pretty funny. Why does he get to have 3 when I have none?
That was my exact point. 100% my exact point on that.
Yes, I guess, yeah, rewinding way back to your question, the things that I have on pre-order, Bandai Jet Jaguar, Megalon, and Mechagodzilla 2021. And what I would like to get is the new Sakai 2000 and the Sakai 1991 that have gone up. Those are my hit list items currently. And then I have things that are on the way that I'm not going to talk about until they show up.
No, that's fine. But I like suspense and surprise, so I'll be there waiting, or I'll pop in after the fact.
I gotta tell you, it's been such the what I've dubbed Samson's Showcase has been a lot of fun, but it's been so hard for me to get something early in the week and wait until Friday to open it for you guys. It's been worth it because I have so much fun, but believe me, coming home from work every day, oh, I'm so exhausted. There's that box. That's so hard. Just should I open it? I can't. I'll ruin the show. I feel like it's so much more genuine for you guys to see my expression, and plus I enjoy doing that on camera, so that it's a surprise. Even though I know what I'm getting, you guys don't, so it's more fun for me to build up the suspense and also for you to see my genuine, real reaction when I first see it in person myself.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean because I have absolutely no patience whatsoever.
Oh,
that's why the 2019 unboxing I did back in March. That was my very first live unboxing because I'm not patient. I ain't waiting for nobody to open the thing.
It's been hard. I have to pretty much come home from work and be like, I'm too tired. I'm gonna lay down. I can't open that right now. That has been the only thing that has been a saving grace for me is actually being too tired to try to do an unboxing video because I can't not do unboxing videos anymore. That's been too fun to do. So I can't open something and then later reveal what I have. I like to do unboxing videos, and that's been why I've introduced Samson's Showcase as part of what I do on Fridays now. Whenever I get something, I don't always get something, which is why this past Friday I wasn't able to record anything. But I'm here on your show now, so that's been what I've been doing instead.
Today was a Makeup Friday.
Except we have to go back to work tomorrow.
I know, and I had to work yesterday too, and I was.
No, you told me that was.
Jesus.
But gotta make that kaiju money.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Kaiju money.
And
food, it'll be worth it.
Food and electricity or something, I guess, too. So.
Yes, I'll pay for lights. I guess can't take
phones, internet, so that we can do stuff like this. Necessities.
All right, Santa. That's all I got for you today. Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
You want me to add more? Really? I thought that you. It's like, hey, you've been talking this whole time. Do you want to talk some more? Oh crap! I don't really have. I guess I kind of chattered a lot. I'm trying to think of anything else about my past that I didn't mention. You covered a lot of great subjects and topics, so I'm trying to think of anything else that might be important to talk about. I guess one thing that was important to me was when Godzilla 2000 hit theaters here in America, when they had an English dub. That was the first Japanese film I ever saw in theaters, and that was such an exciting for me because my grandfather took me to go see it. And so the film, I did not enjoy it at the time because I was like, he's not fighting anything. This is just a stupid spaceship in the army. It's boring. And then when Orga showed up, I was like, whoa. This wasn't called Godzilla versus whatever that thing is. What is this? So but oddly enough, I don't know why or how this happened. Right at the end of the film, they were starting to fight, and then one of the speakers blew out in the theater and just this loud, horrendous horn sound of a busted speaker. So I'm sitting there in 2000 when the film came out. I was 9 years old, so I'm sitting there just going, trying to watch because I'm like trying to enjoy it, but the sound was too much for me. It was too much input and a sensory overload that I was just like panicking. And then my grandfather's just sitting there going, I remember being sitting there going like this. And just, like, how are you able to? He was fine with it. I guess his hearing aid was turned off, so yeah, he was able to take it, and I couldn't. But that's another cherished memory that I have from growing up as a Godzilla fan. Was the first film that I saw in theaters that wasn't Godzilla 1998, the first Japanese Godzilla film I saw with my grandfather, and remembering just that slight tidbit of. And we got our money back too, because technically the film messed up. We watched the whole thing. We didn't leave when the speaker busted, but he was like, "All right, we got to see a free Godzilla movie, huh, kiddo?" Yeah, I guess. I was still like kind of upset about it. That was terrifying.
Yeah, Godzilla 2000 was the first Godzilla movie. I didn't see Zilla in theaters. I saw it on VHS, and I think I saw that on VHS like 2 weeks before Godzilla 2000 came out. And me, my whole family, me, my mom, my dad, my brother and sister, the whole time I'm just grinning and cheesing at the screen.
I know, right? It was like, I've only seen it on a TV this big, little 12-inch TV with a VHS player attached to it. So to see it like that on the big screen was such a wild experience, and that's what G-Fest was for me growing up too. Getting to see those movies with our fan base, where none of us cared that when something epic happened, we all whoa! It wasn't like shut up. We all were like, we were all doing that. We're like, booyah! Godzilla, yeah! Like, I'm trying to be a Karen over here and hate everything.
Oh my God, I need to go to G-Fest very soon. Whenever G-Fest comes back up, I'll have to stop collecting for probably a year, but I need to go to G-Fest at least once.
Yeah, I was disappointed to get that email from JD Lee's about how that was not happening again this year, just from where the pandemic was hitting us and how much time it takes to organize and get everything set up. I think we got that email. God, how long has it been? It was maybe a month or a month and a half ago. I understand, because it does take a lot of time and effort to get that thing set up. So it was right for him to tell us ahead of time, hey, we can just go ahead and know that that's not going to happen this year again. So I apologize. I was so looking forward, because I was like, man, I haven't been to G-Fest since 2000. I think it was 15, actually, as a matter of fact. That was my last G-Fest. Life got in the way. I started not making as much money or saving it like I should have. And I just didn't find a way to go back like I should have. And whenever the hotel rooms got put up, they immediately got bought out too. That was what I was really disappointed in, is how fast the hotel rooms got bought out. I really didn't want to stay at a hotel that wasn't the G-Fest hotel. I didn't want to have to go somewhere else every time I was done at the show. It's like, hey, I'm going to go rest up in my room real quick, and then I'll come back downstairs and enjoy this with you guys after a bit. Not, all right, I'm going to go take a taxi about 10 minutes down the road, and I'll see you later. It's so much more costly to stay at another hotel if you think about it. Even if you might save money, you got to keep spending money to shuffle back and forth and whatever. Mm-hmm. So I'm sorry, have you not been to G-Fest at all?
Nope.
That's criminal.
I know.
There's a lot of people that haven't. Don't worry. But it's still, I know it's one of the greatest experiences that a Godzilla fan can have. I always loved the first time I went. Of course, it's all about the dealer's room, because it's toys. But afterwards, you started to learn that there's so much more to the show. It's about the experiences, hanging out with friends and doing stuff. And there's a lot more going on than just the dealer's room. But that is the biggest perk, is to be in a room with thousands of Godzilla figures and just see all the exciting faces, kids, adults, what have you, just seeing all the stuff. People light up when they walk in that room. And it's such a great moment to capture and be there for.
Yeah, I need to have my G-Fest moment. And it'd be awesome to meet, of course, to meet you, Samson, to meet everybody I've met in this great fandom. That's so many people over these last few years. It's ridiculous. Like, it'll be crazy to actually meet all y'all once, like at G-Fest. It'll be insane.
And as many people have expressed and talked about in the past, I know David Dobko, Rich Iso, just a bunch of people that I've talked to online forever. When I met them in person, it wasn't weird, or it wasn't like, hey, how's it going? My name's Samson. Nice to meet you. And we just was like, bro, what's going on, man? Good to see you. It's like we've known each other for the longest time anyway. Well, there's no awkwardness or weirdness about it. We were able to just like immediately connect, and like we've lived next door since we were like good neighbor friends. So but yeah, seeing people in person is definitely a whole different experience because I'm gonna be so mean for doing this. I was like, "Hey, Rich." He's a shorter fella, but I think a lot of us know that anyway. But it was kind of just a little funny to see him in person the first time and be like, "Hey." And don't worry, he can beat me up anytime he wants to. So he making fun of his, or not making fun of, but yes, making fun of his height. I am being an asshole. I'm making fun of it. I'm not gonna try to sugarcoat that. I'm being a jerk about it.
I mean,
it's all good fun, but yeah, I can't. A lot of people that I've talked to and connected with online recently, I'm so excited to meet them in person and just connect and just yeah, it's G-Fest and any kind of convention is one of the greatest experiences you can have. And the Sunday that we all have to go back home is just like, oh, what happens at the time? It's always like, oh, when you're there, it's great and it's fun. But then when it's time to leave, it's like, that went by so fast. Can we like do this for a solid week instead, please?
I know I've heard a lot of people say that too. But oh God, I'd be scared to be there for a whole week. I'll have to fool Chicago.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. It would get expensive for sure, unless
yes.
Once I win the lottery, I'll bring us all out there.
Don't let me hit that Powerball.
Ooh, I'm gonna get me that Powerball, and then we all gonna be staying at the hotel together. Yeah.
Right.
I guess that's. I mean, unless you have any other questions, I can't think about anything else that's been really impactful in my life other than the great experiences that I've had, the being so grateful and lucky to get the figures and chances that I've gotten to get what I've gotten. Like that Godzilla versus Gigan poster is a big that might actually be what I'm spending a big chunk of money on next is the custom frame for that. I'm going to be getting a UV protecting plexiglass frame. I talked to the gentleman that runs Showcase Kaiju, Sean Lincolnback. He's a very big poster enthusiast. He collects and he knows all about like how to protect and do the vintage posters. He said the plexiglass is the way to go because if that poster by some horrible incident falls off the wall and the frame shatters, it will destroy it, which would be a shame. But plexiglass that is so much stronger and would not do that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I can't wait for. And it definitely has to be a custom frame since it's that unique two posters, one on top of the other to make a very long image kind of deal. It's, I believe, 58 inches tall by 20 inches wide. So Jesus. It's two regular sized movie posters, one on top of the other. So it's a very unique, but I can't wait to display it. And the fact that it's in such great condition, that's I'm so excited. But yeah, great experiences, great friends, and just a great fandom. I couldn't be happier being where I am right now, especially with connecting with people and collecting what I'm able to collect.
Well, I guess that's all I got as well, Samson. Again,
I guess one more. I have to thank you so much for inviting me on your show. I as I said many times before, I was very, very humbled and almost embarrassed because I feel like I don't have a celebrity status that people kind of give me. I can understand that because I did the same thing to YouTubers also. I was like, I've seen all his videos online. How's it going, man? They say the same. They're like, hey, man, what's going on? I try to be like that too. I'm like, I don't have celebrity status. I'm just some kid that found a camera and had some kaiju toys I wanted to showcase, and that's what I did. But I'm still very humbled and grateful that you guys think of me that way. I'm not going to boast like, damn right I'm Samson West. very humbled and grateful that y'all enjoy my stuff, and I'm able to help so many of y'all in the collecting fandom and in the fandom in general. But yes, thank you for inviting me on your show. I was so looking forward to this and almost a little nervous because I was like, oh man, I've seen his videos and I've talked to him online, but to kind of interact in almost like the most realistic way in person that you can come these days, I was like, this is what am I going to say? What am I going to do? But this has been a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. I feel like that I've been kind of a little bit of a spaz, but that's who I am when I get excited.
Well, again, I appreciate you coming on, Samson. Thank you so much. I gotta run. But I hope everybody enjoyed the show.
Talked so long. Yeah.
Oh no, you're fine. It wasn't your fault. But I hope everybody enjoyed the show today. I had a lot of fun talking to Samson, and I'll be announcing my next episode pretty soon here. So until next time, guys, hope everybody has a wonderful night.
All right, guys. Sayonara.